So finally, at long last, after many missions, our friend Black Adam has reached level 30. Let's talk about that. Hello heroes and villains, welcome to Multiverse. So once you reach level 30, the very first thing I strongly suggest you do is come and talk to our friend. Here we are in the Hall of Doom. Let's take a look at the map, because why not? So here we are in the Hall of Doom in the Magic Wing, but there are similar vendors also in the Meta Wing and in the Tech Wing. And the same is true also with the Watchtower. In the Watchtower, it's pretty much the same thing, except that the Watchtower is not made in a circle like the Hall of Doom is. But other than that, the Watchtower also has the 3 wings, and the same vendors are in those 3 wings. So here we are in the Magic Wing with Kayim the Coveter. But if we go to the Meta Wing, the very same vendor is the Sales Agent Chugon, probably mispronouncing that. And in the Tech Wing, we have the Evil Heatwave. I guess soon they should upgrade the Heatwave model. So what do those vendors have that is so important? Let's take a look. So basically our friend here is selling gear where you need renown with the Cult of Trigon. Obviously, sadly, at this point in time, there's no way you can have enough renown to be able to really purchase the gear from this guy. But what you really want to purchase is not so much the gear as the utility belt. These vendors have the best utility belt you can get at this point in the game, which is an item level 54. There's actually 2 belts. There's an item level 44 and an item level 54. Eons ago, the price would be different. Like the price in terms of cash, $173 or $208. Doesn't really matter. The real important part is that they each cost 11 source marks. Eons ago, the price would be different, but at some point, they made a whole bunch of changes to the vendors, and somehow the 2 utility belt ended up being 11 source marks each. Normally, when you reach this point in the game, you should have about 80 source marks. I was a foolish fool and I spent some of my source marks, so that's why I only have a 52. But for the belt, it doesn't matter. We only need 11 source marks to purchase the belt, so let us do that right now. And let us equip the belt. So as you can see, it did raise our combat rating a little bit. Normally it would have a lot more impact when you equip it on your character. The reason why it did not make that big of a difference, basically I went from item level 26 to item level 54, which is somewhat of a big step. But right now I do have the Legion Flight Ring, which gives quite a boost to my character, so the belt did not have as big of an impact as it should have. But still, it is an item level 54 utility belt, which is much better than what we had, so there's no reason at all why you should not buy it. And once you reach level 30, that is when you start having access to some of the vendors in the Hall of Doom. And the same is true in the Watchtower. In this case here, we have a Brother Blood, which is a tier 1 vendor. I have a couple of videos. I have one for the heroes and one for the villains, where I show all the vendors from tier 1 all the way up to tier 7. And that video might be a bit outdated by now. I probably should make a newer version of that video.
All hail Trigon. Soon he will rise. Will you be the one to greet him? Bring me the proper tokens and the armor can be yours.
So here you can see the tier 1 set of gear that our friend Brother Blood is selling. At this point, you should have about 80 source marks, so you should be able to purchase at least a few pieces of gear, but I would strongly suggest don't do that. So once you reach level 30, you will start using the on-duty menu to start playing tier 1 missions. So playing those missions will give you gear, and it's gear that's odds are is going to be much better than the gear you can purchase from Brother Blood. And at this point, you will change gear very often. And the gear you get from missions should be more than enough to allow you to pass to the next tier. So unless you really need the Aegis of Azeroth style, don't purchase that gear. I would strongly suggest start upgrading your mainframe instead. So early on, instead of using your source marks to purchase gear, I would strongly suggest use those source marks to be able to upgrade your mainframe. So you'll see to purchase tactical mods, you'll need 25. Early on, it's pretty much always 25, except for the henchmen, it's 10 source marks, and it's 5 source marks for the accomplice. So let's spend, let's say, 25 source marks here. In order to be able to purchase the tactical mods, you will need a few things. The first thing you will need is that you will need the Lair system. Let's take a quick look. In order to be able to use the mainframe in your Lair or the generator, you will need the Lair system. So the Lair system is useful for the orbital strikes, the sidekick, the supply drops, and all that good stuff that you can get thanks to your Lair. So you have to either purchase the Lair system, which is roughly $5. If you are a subscriber, it's $4.50. Although if you are a subscriber, the Lair system is included in your subscription. So if you are a subscriber, you don't have to purchase the Lair system. It is already included in your subscription. And also, in order to be able to purchase Tactical Mods 1, Tactical Mods 2, and the Boost, you can see it says that it requires Active Cells 1, Active Cells 2, and Active Cells 3. So if we go into our generator, we can see the cells right here. So let's replace the cells. There we go. I forget if the cells last 30 days or 60 days. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, you have to always replace your cells. So once you do that and you go back to your mainframe, then you could purchase Tactical Mods 1, Supply Drop 1, and all that good stuff. So let us purchase Tactical Mods 1. And sadly, we don't have enough to purchase Tactical Mods 2, and we certainly don't have enough then to purchase the Boost either. So I guess we could, let's go for the henchmen. I see a lot more people using the henchmen than the accomplices. Actually, it's pretty rare that I see people that still use the accomplices. Sadly, the last time I used the accomplices, people made fun of me a bit in the mission. They couldn't believe that someone was still using that. The consensus pretty much seems to be that people are using the henchmen instead. With the accomplices, you have one pet that will come and help you. Yeah, the pet can heal a bit, it can replenish powers, but people much prefer to have 3 pets, 3 henchmen that will go into battle for you. So once you purchase your tactical mods and your henchmen, you have to go to near the entrance of your lair. You can see that little vendor here. So if you ever wondered what that vendor was doing there, that's what it was doing there. Here there's the space base hideout. Last November we got a gift from the devs. We got a new base which is called the space base. Sadly, that base was only available for a limited time in November. It will come back next November. If you missed out on the space base, don't worry, it will come back next November. And here you can see the various henchmen you can get. And you can see there is a different type of henchman with each lair. Obviously, you have to own the lair in order to be able to get the henchmen. Right now, I have all the lairs, so that's why I have all the henchmen. So there's an henchman for the Ancient Lair, Atlantis Lair, the Bunker, the Brainiac Lair, the Cave Lair, the Eastern Lair, the Gothic Lair, the Dive, the Industrial Lair, the Deco Lair, the Penthouse, the Sewer, and the Space Base, the Tech Lair. So since we are in the Ancient Lair, let's take those henchmen. So you can see the henchmen right here, and we have a free slot in our utility belt, so let us equip them. And just for the fun of it, let us summon our little henchmen friends. So you can see a couple of stone statue that comes in battle with you. So once you purchase Henchman 1, you only have 2 henchmen. When you purchase Henchman 2, you still have only 2 henchmen, but they are a bit more powerful. And once you do purchase the boost, then you have 3 henchmen. Those henchmen fly, they're more powerful, and all that good stuff. Now let's go take a look at the tactical mods. Eons ago when we had tactical mods, like Tactical Mods 1 would only give us the weapon and the neck piece. Then Tactical Mod 2 would give us like the chest and the back, I think. And then Tactical Mod 3 would give us access to everything. That was changed, so right now with Tactical Mod, you still have a mod with each pieces of gear. So let us select those. So if you look into your gear, you can see there's some white mods that you can put into your gear. You can see the head socket, the weapon, the neck, and all that good stuff. So let us do that right now. So let's start with the weapon. So here I would suggest that depending on your role, with most role I would just go with the blast adapter. The replenishing adapter, if you're a controller, you will give out a lot more power. That extra additional power doesn't really matter. And the same for a healer. If you're a healer and you need a restorative adapter, that's not good. So I would suggest, by default, usually I'll go with the blast adapter. So let's go for the tactical mod helmet. So this one is pretty much linked to supercharges. So there's a whole bunch of supercharges that will get some sort of bonuses from this mod. So with this character, I'm using Word of Power. So let us go for that mod. And then let's equip it in our headpiece. And here we have the neck mod. Normally we should have more options than that. I'm not sure why it's only giving me the Guardian Angel. Let's go for that. It could be because we only have a tactical mod 1, and that's quite possible. And let's take a look at the chest piece. So again, normally we would have more options than that, but right now they offer us RT, so 5% extra health, or 5% less power when we use a superpower. Let's go for the superpower one. I can heal myself well enough. And let's put the mod in the chest piece. So for the back, so there's a few items like accelerated arc lightning, accelerated biocapacitor, accelerated flux, accelerated Tesla balls. Oh, and that seems to be it. Let's go for arc lightning. And last but not least, the legs. Let's go for restorative overcharge. So we got white mods for some of our gear, but we don't have a white mod just yet for the gloves and the boots. I assume once we purchase either Tactical Mods 2 or the boost, that is when we will get those mods. So early on, this is what I would suggest you upgrade with your source marks. So don't waste your source marks buying gear at this point, because you will change your gear quickly enough. So early in the game, you will get gear from the missions, the tier 1 missions. So the Brother Blood gear will become obsolete very quickly. So you'll pretty much have wasted your marks at this point. And the same is pretty much true with the tier 2 set of gear. If we take a look at our friend Cheetah,
much too powerful for kittens. But show me proof you're a king of the jungle, and it can be yours.
if we take a look at Cheetah, she's selling a tier 2 set of gear, which is item level 56. Again, it is some gear that you will replace very quickly. So right now, even though I just reached level 30, you can see that I already have access to tier 2 missions. The reason for that is because of the Legion Flight Ring that I have in my share bank. But right now I do have the Legion Flight Ring, which gives quite a boost to my character. Like technically my combat rating is 34 because that is the gear that I have equipped on my character. But my actual combat rating is 46, giving me access to tier 2 missions. And with tier 2, there is one mission that you can play that will pretty much take you straight to tier 3. It's the Gotham University Warehouse. The reason for that is quite simple. When you play the Gotham University Warehouse, you have 5 bosses within that mission. Usually you get a piece of gear whenever you defeat a boss. And in that one mission, you have 5 bosses, so you have 5 potential pieces of gear that you can get in that mission. And usually those 5 pieces of gear are more than enough to send you straight to tier 3. I have a video about that. I do have a video about like how to level up faster to level 30, how to level faster tier 1, how to level faster tier 2. So I'll put the link to those videos in the description down below. Once you do reach tier 3, again, instead of purchasing gear, once you reach tier 3, the mission that will help you is the police station mission. Again, in that one mission, you have, I forget if it's 4 or 5 bosses. Each gives you a piece of gear, and that should be enough to send you to tier 4. Tier 4 used to be a bit of a speed bump. At tier 4, you had some missions in the open world that you could play, but those missions did not give you gear. There was one mission that would give you gear in the open world, but it was only like once a week. It was basically a weekly mission. But eventually they added 3 tier 4 duos. So if you play those tier 4 duos, you may have to play them twice in order to be able to get enough gear to be able to move to tier 5. But basically just playing the Shadowlands, the Watchtower, an Opportunity, and the Star Labs Satellite, that should be enough to push you to tier 5 quickly enough. Tier 5 is pretty much when you will start purchasing gear from the vendors. You will get some gear from the Test Subject number 1 mission or the Hunt mission. So I would suggest for a while, don't spend your source marks buying gear. You will replace that gear so quickly that it's going to be a waste. Save your gear until you reach about Tier 5. Tier 5 is pretty much where you need to start purchasing gear. Because in order to be able to go from Tier 5 to Tier 6, like at Tier 5, the combat rating is 80, and at Tier 6, it's 99. Like you have 20 combat ratings to go through in order to be able to pass on to Tier 6. Normally, you need about half of your gear to be Tier 5 in order to be able to do that. So you will need to purchase about half of your gear to be Tier 5, and the rest could be dropped gear that you get playing the missions. You will get gear playing Tier 5 missions, and sadly the gear that drops from Tier 5 missions, it won't be enough to be able to bring you to Tier 6. You are going to have to purchase, at the very least, at least half of the Tier 5 set of gear in order to be able to move on to Tier 6. The Tier 5 set of gear, that is the top Tier 5 set of gear, that's the Green Lantern set of gear if you play as a hero, or that's the Sinestro set of gear if you play as an evil villain. For the Sinestro set of gear, you have to go to ranks, which sadly I don't have access to right now because I'm too low level. And as a hero, you have to go to Mogo to purchase the Green Lantern set of gear. Although nowadays, there is an alternative. So right now we have the Legion missions that are in the Events tab. Those missions will give you gear. So in theory, you could even not purchase the Green Lantern set of gear or the Sinestro set of gear, and you could try to get some gear from the Legion missions instead. Like right now we could play the Legion missions and either get gear from playing those missions, or we could even purchase gear from this little vendor here.
For all your mechanical needs.
Like our friend here sells the Cosmic Boy set of gear. It's item level 272, the max item level. The gear will scale with the level of your character, but you could use this gear and purchase this gear over and over in order to be able to level up your character. So right now you could play the Legion missions to be able to get some extra gear. But sadly in 2 weeks, that will be replaced with the Flashpoint DLC. But the same will be true. You're going to be able to play the Flashpoint missions and get gear from playing those missions. And once you reach level 30, there's also the Toyman's mission that you can play. Let's accept. So basically you have to teleport to Striker Island, and there are 3 missions that you can play in the Toyman mission, and each will give you a source mark. It's not that much, but it's a source mark you can get easily enough. I have a video about the Toyman mission. I'll put the link to that video in the description down below. Also, once you reach level 30, there's this little console that you can click.
It's that time again! Thanks for tuning in! Get ready for another round of newbies! I'm your host, the Joker. Let's get to know our legendary contestants. So you're not today put that big rainy bottle boy on his big behind, did you? Etc., etc., blah, blah, blah. Well, congratulations. We're all so proud. Aren't we, ladies and gentlemen? I said, aren't we, ladies and gentlemen? Harley! Harley! You see? But enough about past exploits. Here today, gone tomorrow, right? That's what they say, right? Take the old stomping grounds, for example. Gotham City and Metropolis. I mean, look at all the little hidey holes you've managed to carve out for yourselves. Oh, so industrious. You must feel all safe and cozy in there. Comfortable, are we? Well, not for long, because it's time to shake things up a bit. You've all become too complacent, too predictable, and that makes you boring. And if there's one thing I can't stand, it's a bored audience. So get ready, kids, because it's going to be a very, very exciting ride. I mean, these are just the opening jokes, folks. We haven't even gotten to the punchline yet, and when we do, it's going to be a doozy.
And that was a little fun little bit. So if you go to your journal then, you'll see Safe House and Save. So that is going to give us 85 marks of legends. I made a video some time ago about the legends, but in case you didn't see that video, there's this little vendor that sells legend characters. So once you reach level 30, you have 85 marks of legends, so you could go on a spending spree and purchase a bunch of those legends. And depending on the price of the legend, obviously if you buy a Pizarro, that's the one legend you're going to be able to purchase. But you can decide to purchase a bunch of less expensive legends if you wanted to. Although at this point, if you are an evil villain, you should have access to Harley Quinn. If you are a hero, you should have access to Robin. And there's also a Modern Batman, which is a free gift that I don't know if everyone gets it, but it's a free gift we got for the 75th anniversary of Batman. And of course, every week there is one legend character that you can use for free for 1 week. So basically, DC Universe 09 is 2 games rolled into one. Actually, it's multiple games rolled into one. You have the PvP aspect, and even PvP is split into Legends PvP and Arena PvP. But basically, part of the game is to level your character from level 1 to level 30. And once you reach level 30, what becomes your actual level at that point is your combat rating. So once you reach level 30, you have to upgrade your gear in order to be able to upgrade your combat rating. So try to get the best gear possible. So get the utility belt you can get, the item level 54 utility belt you can get right at level 30. And then start playing the on-duty menu missions in order to be able to get better gear and increase your combat rating. So this pretty much concludes our walkthrough with the evil Black Adam. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I tried to alternate a bit between making walkthrough with heroes and villains, but for the next walkthrough, I did ask you guys. I had a little poll last week asking you guys which character you would like to see next, and a lot of you guys voted for Nightwing. Doomsday came in second place. Nightwing came in first at 39%. Doomsday was second at 26%. We had Kid Flash at 18%. Zoom at 15%. And other, where you would specify in the comment section which character you wanted, at 2%. So it would seem that Nightwing is our great winner. So the next walkthrough should be with our friend Nightwing. If you have any questions, feel free to ask so in the comment section down below, and I'll see what I can do about answering your questions. I have roughly 2,000 videos about this Universe Online at this point, so if I don't answer your question right away, just search in my videos. Odds are I already made a video that answers your question. Or click one of the videos that you see on your screen right now. Bye-bye.